it'll be your first time playing in Huntington Banfield. Obviously, the Browns fans traveled in that first game, but what are you looking forward to most playing in front of the home crowd, in front of the Dog Pound?
I'm very excited. I want to do, and I didn't even say this, but I wanted to find a way to get a lot of the high schools free tickets, a lot of the kids, middle schools, everybody free tickets to come to the game. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know anything. I didn't talk to anybody about this. But, like, I just always had, like, instant thoughts. And I'm like, dang, that'd be cool if we could do it. But I didn't talk to anybody about that yet. So I hope I don't, you know. But I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere. I'm excited for everything, everybody. I know a lot of us will be playing in the game, so I'm just excited to be out there and get out there. I'm excited for the new DT96 cleats that will be out there that day. Yeah.
When most athletes talk about giving back, it's usually just sound bites for interviews or photo ops staged for cameras. But Shedeur Sanders flipped that script with real action that hit different. Offering free tickets to students for the Rams showdown wasn't just generosity, it was leadership in motion. He wasn't simply trying to fill empty seats. He was sparking a movement, rallying a whole generation, and proving that real influence comes from uniting people in one voice. This wasn't just football. It was Shedeur turning a game into a statement that couldn't be ignored. Once again, Shedeur showed he's not just out here playing the game, he's reshaping how the game feels. When a quarterback doesn't just show up for the huddle but shows up for the fans, that's when you realize you're watching more than an athlete. You're watching a leader in the making. And that's exactly what Shedeur did by putting students first with those free tickets for the Rams matchup. This wasn't about hype. It wasn't some shallow gesture. It was a deliberate move that spoke volumes. The message came across loud and clear. The people in those seats matter just as much as the points on that scoreboard.
When everything transpired, I was out of town. So I was like, nah, the first thing I do when I get back, definitely come to the community. I could tell everybody's vibe out here is down to earth. So a lot of people that didn't want me coming out here doing it, but I don't understand why. You know, God told me come out here, so I'm never going to question his word. It's definitely just get active and actually do it. You know, sending money and stuff, that's easy, but you have to actually go out there and be in the flesh. You know, I feel like that's more impactful.
The beauty of this move is how smoothly it slices through all the noise that surrounds modern college football. Today's athletes get torn apart for being too flashy, too selfish, or too distant from the very students who scream their names from the bleachers, but Shedeur did the complete opposite. He flipped the script and showed that charisma doesn't have to equal arrogance, and generosity doesn't need to be staged for cameras to feel real. For students balancing tuition payments, overpriced textbooks, and nights fueled by ramen noodles, this gesture hit different. A free ticket to see one of the brightest quarterbacks in the country isn't just some casual handout. It's an invitation to be part of something bigger, a movement that says their pride, their energy, and their presence matter just as much as what happens on the field.
I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't nervous, so I didn't really have too much adrenaline. It was just getting comfortable. That's all it is. Like it's plenty games before, like I was nervous, but I felt like I knew the answers to the test. So it's like when you feel unprepared, then, you know, when you don't feel like you're ready for the moment. I know I'm ready for the moment. Did I play up to par? No, I don't feel like I did. But overall, the main goal was to win. And that's honestly what we did. Well, I say I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable, you know, so that's what it is. You know, I got pockets of finding my rhythm, and I got to get into that quicker, regardless of anything. But overall, I feel like me out there.
Let's be real. When Shedeur walks into a stadium, he doesn't just bring a game. He brings a culture, a whole vibe, and an electricity that rattles the stands. But with this gesture, he made it clear that energy isn't some exclusive perk. It's not locked away for alumni lounging in cushy seats or boosters flashing their checks. It's for the students grinding through classes, breathing the campus air every day, and rocking school colors out of pure pride. That's where Shedeur shines brightest, because he's not just looking to collect casual fans, he's out here building believers, the kind of believers who don't just watch. They live it, they carry it, and they see themselves reflected in his rise every single Saturday.
It's only a matter of time before the truth starts coming out. Imagine being one of the best college quarterbacks. Imagine being one of the highest NIL making quarterbacks. Imagine making probably more than $30 million before you get into the league, offer your NIL name and likeness and deals that you made as your own brand. Imagine that, and imagine your dad being one of the greatest players to ever play, Shedeur Sanders. Now imagine the NFL having, a gripe with you because of your dad and the things that your dad did while he was in the NFL. Causing player empowerment, getting guaranteed deals, and upping player salary and all that good stuff. And just the way that he went about himself playing baseball and football and just being on touch.
Think about the psychology behind this for a second. Most players at Shedeur's level already know they've got loyal fans, but real loyalty doesn't just fall from the sky, it's cultivated. And Shedeur is making sure those packed student sections aren't just filled with warm bodies, but with voices that roar like thunder shaking the walls. When the Rams roll into town, he knows a stadium is only as terrifying as its crowd, and a crowd is only as fierce as it feels respected and valued. By giving students free entry, he's basically handing them a megaphone and declaring, "This is your house." That's where the class of Shedeur Sanders shines, because it's not about being a quarterback who just drops touchdowns. It's about being a quarterback who throws opportunities right back into the community. It's generosity disguised as strategy, because when those students storm the stands, they're not passive spectators. They're participants. They're screaming until their throats burn, waving banners until their arms ache, and creating a home field advantage that no amount of booster money could ever buy. And here's the kicker. This move sets off a ripple effect. It's a cultural shift, subtle but powerful, with Shedeur planted firmly at the center. The Rams matchup was already a high-stakes rivalry dripping with intensity and drama, but now there's another layer, a student section that feels chosen, valued, and empowered. That kind of energy won't just echo, it will reverberate through the game in a way nobody can ignore.
I think we got to declare a moratorium on going crazy with our referendums on preseason football. And I'm watching Shedeur Sanders play, and I realize I have to pick a side, it almost feels like. You either say, hey, he looked great, or, yeah, okay. You can't even cover it and be in the middle. I thought he played really well. And then all of a sudden, I see the coverage for Dillon Gabriel and, had a fumble and then had interception. The interception wasn't his fault. So you're trying to find a middle ground with this, with what you say in the preseason. We'll play these back in January. When the season's over for a lot of these rookies, I think Shedeur Sanders will start a game for the Browns this season.
That's the unseen power behind what Shedeur just pulled off. Athletes live off the roar of a crowd. Quarterbacks especially thrive when that energy is surging at their backs, and defenses turn meaner when every stop sparks an eruption that shakes the stadium to its core. But let's be clear, this wasn't just about winning a football game. Shedeur is sending a message about character, about who he is as a man. He's showing the world that you can have the flash, the talent, the spotlight, and still stay grounded enough to connect with the very people who keep the spirit alive. This isn't a quarterback chasing viral highlights. This is a quarterback who plays with and for his community. In today's sports culture, that type of class is rare, refreshing, and flat-out revolutionary. And for the students who walked into that stadium with free tickets in hand, they won't just remember touchdowns or the final score. They'll remember the way Shedeur made them feel like part of something bigger than football.
The NFL coming together and saying, hey, you want to be like your dad and you want to bring your NIL and likeness to the league? We'll show you something. We'll show you that you're not going to be bigger than us here. You could have been that in college in Colorado, but not in the NFL. Take a listen to this.
I just said, don't do that. Draft
Really?
him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him. They were forced into drafting him because somebody made a call to them, said, it's good, And I said, when I say this is a NFL side source for sure. So this is not here. So look, one thing about it is and I'll just say it. They don't like when guys have brands, especially black players. And that's mostly us with the brand. We kind of, some guys are flashy and all that kind of stuff. They don't like that. They don't like that. This kid, Fred, I don't think you knew this. He had already made $17 million from a car deal that he already signed. A car deal. He had $17 million already for that. Then he had another 14, I think, from a was it a shoe, Nike or some shoe deal. So he was.
This moment also throws a spotlight on the Sanders family legacy, and that matters. Deion has always preached character, presence, and leadership, and now Shedeur is proving he absorbed those lessons, not by repeating them, but by living them out loud. Leadership isn't just about calling plays in a huddle, it's about recognizing the value of every single person who fuels the heartbeat of the team. That includes the students in the bleachers, the ones painting their faces, waving flags in freezing weather, and screaming until their voices crack. And honestly, the timing couldn't be better. College football is in the middle of a transformation. NIL deals, transfer portals, shifting conferences. It feels more business-driven than ever. That's why this move wasn't just charity, it was sharp, calculated leadership. The students who walked into that stadium for free this time, they'll be the ones buying jerseys, season tickets, and merchandise the next time. Years from now, they'll be the ones saying, "I was there when Shedeur led the charge against the Rams." That kind of memory cements loyalty that spreads to the next generation like wildfire. What Shedeur created here isn't about a single game. It's about planting seeds of legacy. And in the long run, those seeds grow into a culture that lasts far longer than one Saturday rivalry.
Up on them. Now, see, this is what we didn't see. See, that's what we have not seen with Cam Ward. We saw a couple of them. But this is what I'm talking about. When the pocket is collapsed, he has no choice but to step up and deliver a strike. And he's getting tackled before he even look at this. The ball is still in his hand, chat. This is what I wanted to see out of Cam, which we didn't get to see. Look at this. Offensive. He's not gonna run. Is he gonna run it? Don't tell me he throws this. This is the difference between Shedeur and Cam, is mechanics. This is fundamentals, right? This is understanding your mechanics. Off of the screen.
It's also worth pointing out how bold this really is when you look at Shedeur's brand. He's not scared of giving away access because he understands something that most players never figure out. Access creates loyalty, and loyalty builds empires. By tearing down that money barrier, he's building an emotional bridge straight to the students. And once that bridge is built, it doesn't break. Now flip the picture. Imagine the Rams stepping into that stadium and seeing a student section that isn't just full, but overflowing with energy, noise, and unshakable pride. That's not just atmosphere. That's psychological warfare. It changes the way opponents look at Shedeur, not just as a quarterback, but as a leader who actually cares about the fans' experience. And here's the kicker. Respect like that spreads like wildfire across a campus. Suddenly, conversations in classrooms, dining halls, and dorms start to shift. Shedeur stops being just the star quarterback and becomes the guy who hooked them up with the chance to witness greatness up close without asking for anything back.
Okay, guys, Shedeur wasted no time in getting out to the community in Cleveland and letting the kids know, hey, I'm here for you. That's just the type of guy he is. Like, subscribe, and leave in the comments of what you think about this, and I'm going to let you check it out with your own two eyes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's just the kind of guy Shedeur is. That's why he didn't go to the combine or pro day, because he wanted the eyes to be on his guys. And you see they all made it into the pro.
There's also a cultural message woven into this moment, and it couldn't come at a more critical time. Athletes today are constantly scrutinized. Too much ego, too disconnected, too wrapped up in their own stardom. But Shedeur is rewriting that tired script. He's proving you can be both a star and a servant leader. You can command the spotlight and still turn it around to shine on others. That duality is powerful precisely because it's so rare. And when fans, especially students, see it, they don't just cheer, they rally behind it with everything they've got. And here's where it really grows. The storytelling around this move is only going to amplify the legend of Shedeur Sanders. Media loves highlight reels, sure, but they crave stories where performance collides with personality. Acts of generosity hit different. They resonate longer and deeper. This is about respect, about awareness, about giving from the heart when you don't have to. It's about lifting others in ways that last. Shedeur is showing the world that true class is timeless. And when you pair it with undeniable talent, that combination becomes unstoppable.
You can see Sanders still here, meeting with kids, meeting with the community members, having a fun time. But that's what this is all about. This event goes until 8 o'clock, but there are other ways that people can help. We've done stories about this over the past several weeks. All of that information can be found on news5cleveland.com and on our News 5 app. But for now, live in Cleveland, Cameron Justice, News 5.
All right, this today. You going somewhere, K?
Fast forward to game day against the Rams, and the scene will speak louder than any headline. A stadium buzzing wall to wall with students, their energy pouring into the team firing it right back into the crowd. It becomes a loop of pure adrenaline. Every touchdown will shake louder, every defensive stop will hit harder, and every single moment will carry the weight of unity pulsing through that building. And right at the center of it all, a quarterback who understood the assignment long before kickoff. For the students in those seats, this won't just be about watching a football game, it's about being seen, about belonging. They'll walk into that stadium knowing they're not extras in someone else's script, they're co-authors of the story itself. Because here's the truth. The football world might never forget stats or championships, but the moments that echo longest are the ones rooted in humanity. By giving students access, Shedeur didn't just hand out tickets, he gave them ownership. And when ownership collides with passion, something powerful happens. Greatness follows, and it leaves behind memories stronger than any scoreboard could ever measure.
What up, you ham and eggs? Your boy Young Weasels out here today with a reaction video. I heard that Shedeur is third on the depth chart. Listen, my guy Shedeur just gotta play out. Ball out, bruh. All that noise. They saying Dylan Gabriel's more poised than you are. Joe Flacco's a veteran. I get it. But you just have to go out there and play the game. Play your game, bro. Don't worry about what the critics say. Because guess what? The critics always gonna have something to say. Do you, bruh. You got Eric Dickerson saying that, oh, we colluded. Bro, we know the league colludes to get players like that to fall in the draft.
Greatness doesn't just come from a stat sheet, it comes from the ripple of memories that echo long after the final whistle. Picture this. Years from now, those same students will have graduated, built careers, maybe even families of their own, and they'll still be telling the story of that day. The day Shedeur handed them tickets to a rivalry game and made them feel like insiders to history itself. Those recollections matter. They carry weight, and they start to build the mythology that surrounds an athlete's name. This is how legends get cemented, not only with touchdowns and trophies, but through stories of connection that outlast any highlight reel. Shedeur didn't just give away tickets, he passed along an idea powerful enough to inspire future waves of generosity across sports. And you better believe athletes are watching this. They'll realize that you don't lose by giving, you gain. You gain loyalty, you gain influence, and you gain impact that can't be measured by stats alone. In sports, that's the kind of win that lingers long after the stadium lights go dark. Because when you shift from transaction to contribution, the atmosphere doesn't just feel real, it feels more passionate, more authentic, and more unifying than ever before.
Shedeur was predicted to go as high as like in the top 10 picks.
Yeah.
He fell to the 144th pick. He started for the Browns in their first preseason game. Even though Shedeur is 4th on the Browns quarterback depth chart, he looked good out there. And Shedeur Sanders falling to the 5th round is his villain origin story. I think he is going to be the best quarterback we've seen in the NFL since Tom Brady. I have the vibes, Madeline.
Whoa.
Think about the vibe. He went out there and he's like, oh, everybody doubted me.
Yeah.
I am going to do this. I think he has the talent. Like, I know people have concerns about his game in different ways, but like, something about watching that, I was like, this is the beginning of something.
This move doesn't just live inside the world of sports, it transcends it completely. Actions like this set a cultural example, reminding everyone that if you're in a position to lift others up, even in the smallest ways, the ripple effects can be massive. A free ticket might sound simple on the surface, but when you multiply that across hundreds, even thousands of students, it transforms into a tidal wave of goodwill, energy, and collective pride that's bigger than football itself. That's community building at its absolute finest. Of course, Shedeur's play on the field will always be picked apart, scrutinized, praised, or critiqued. That comes with the territory of being a quarterback. But it's actions like this that truly set him apart from the pack. He's building a reputation grounded in substance, proving that real leadership doesn't stop at the gridiron. And when you peel back the layers, it's clear why this matters so deeply in college football. Because these are formative years, not just for the players carving out their path, but for the students shaping their own futures. And the bonds built in these moments, they don't fade with graduation. They last a lifetime, carried forward like traditions of pride and loyalty.
What's going on, YouTube? This is Mag Dog TV coming back with another one. So it looks like Shedeur Sanders continues to show love to the fans out there in Cleveland, in particular to the children, to the kids. If you guys don't realize how famous Shedeur Sanders is, wait till you hear this video. Until next time, peace.
Alumni return decades later, still carrying the emotions of the games they lived through, the chants, the chills, the unforgettable connections they felt. By pulling students closer, Shedeur is making sure their loyalty isn't just to a scoreboard, but to the culture and spirit he helped create. So when the Rams game is roaring and the cameras pan across a student section packed to the brim, know this, it's no accident. This is intentional leadership in action. It's the mark of an athlete who understands that influence goes far beyond passes and touchdowns. Shedeur Sanders didn't just want students to watch him play, he wanted them to feel part of the mission, the rivalry, the unfolding story itself. And by doing so, he ensured their voices would echo louder than ever, shaping the atmosphere around him. Because this is more than free tickets. It's a declaration, a statement that players on the field and students in the crowd are connected, that the energy of one fuels the fire of the other. College sports thrive on that bond, and Shedeur sharpened it until it became part of the very identity of the program. His gesture transformed ordinary spectators into active participants, turning a regular Saturday matchup into a shared experience of pride and belonging. And in the long run, this is how true legacies are built. Wins and losses fade, but impact runs deeper. Shedeur's leadership guaranteed that when people remember this game, they won't just recall the score, they'll remember the unity, the electricity, the feeling that students and team marched in step toward the same victory. So now it's on you. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to share and subscribe for more.